Welcome. I will be focusing on the Candyman 2021 film, orchestrated by Nia DaCosta and Jordan Peele. How do I describe this movie? It was like Unto, one of those theme park rides one gets on because it looks safe enough to get on because who's engineering and monitoring it. Thus, I thought this movie was going to be chill enough, and it was. Certain moments gave me laughs by the over-dramatizations that's in typical horror movies, while other times the film made me go... At times, I understood the characters one moment, then found them complexing in the next. How could all of this have happened? I'll tell you how. Lack of communication, failure to conduct successful interpersonal communication amongst people you know, all at the same time, having long conversations with sus individuals. That's what our guy, Anthony McCoy, does, played by Mr. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Such a dope name. He portrayed Anthony too well. I became so fully immersed and into the willing suspension of disbelief that I forgot it was him, that he was acting. For me, this character, who was an artiste, was quite selfish at times. This dude had a supportive woman he kind of took for granted and then completely blocked out as the story progressed. He goes and chats up with this oh-so-helpful stranger. Keyword stranger, not even strangers. He doesn't ask around other people in the neighborhood about the information this guy is sharing to him or that he's researched. Going to ask others, hey, is this accurate and known information, or is this dude just making this up? Too much trust is placed in this stranger. His own woman, Bree, told him that she didn't really want him to pursue this Candyman theme, or that she didn't really care for it. When he tells her about it, and while she's all like, nope, he's all like, let me go capitalize on this. He kind of does this. He capitalizes on Black pain without any real helpful purpose. His art doesn't really help anybody given his predominant audience. He doesn't explain who this man was before he was killed, before the injustice. He doesn't share how this guy had been a loathsome man, but attempted to be friendly to kids and give out candy. He could have explained through his art how mental health is important to be aware of, and how this man had obviously and was proven to be harmless before his death by brutality, practically childlike himself, in need of assistance, in need to be taught what's acceptable and what's not. He probably didn't even get that it wasn't okay to go around giving candy to kids without a parent around or a parent guardian permission. Plus, this man appeared handy-capable. This should have been emphasized. The injustice of what was done to him should have been emphasized. The lack of community help, the craziness of it just going under the radar and no one talking about it. Yet, to me, he failed at emphasizing the innocence and character of the man he was trying to capitalize on and profit from, focusing only on what was done to them instead of who did it and the lack of action done afterwards to shed light and justice on it. His gallery display was not to honor the men that died or how wrong the community was to not do anything about it. He wanted people to be impressed at him conveying the pain of these men rather than the lack of resolution brought to their deaths. It was a no for me. I wouldn't want to look at his work either. He didn't even know these men, and it was sort of hired to place Black pain on display when he could have promoted Black justice and innocence. He seemed so caught up in the resurrection of the Candyman dude and the guy going around killing anyone who summoned him that he allowed the opportunity, if not willfully chose, to lose his own identity, own sense of self, eventually turning into the very thing he wanted to promote and capitalize on without going through the experience nor properly bringing awareness. I never once saw him try to spread his research to other social medias or reach out to a news station, community hall, or some sort of people of power or influence to bring a review at the local law enforcement. We see him going through the stages of transformation into Candyman, with the betrayal revealed, his woman Bree getting looped into it, Anthony dying, Bree being arrested, and then we see Anthony resurrected as the very thing he went around trying to make money off of. But now he experienced the injustices done towards other Black men like him. And you want to feel for the dude, but I believe he should have just left, not become discouraged, instead sold uplifting art and became an advocate for justice if he was so determined to share the story, rather than telling people to call out a title rather than the dead man's actual name or any of the Black men's names who fell. And some might say it wasn't for capitalism, it was just to make a name for himself, but that's just as bad. Like, you're doing it for glory then. You're profiting off the pain of others to make yourself look good in depicting their pain. It's like, how is this helping them? Throughout the movie, I stayed optimistic for a happy ending, and in a way it is. Bree saved herself, the corrupted cops were yeeted out of the movie, and Anthony came back to life only as part of a hive of Candyman, unable to go back to his original life with his woman Bree as an artist. And nevertheless, the last thing he says is quite heavy. He says, as one with his fellow fallen brethren, I am the writing on the walls. I am the sweet smell of blood on the street, the buzz that echoes in the alleyways. They will say I shed innocent blood. You are far from innocent, but they will say you were. That's all that matters. This was heavy. And it was far from a bad movie. It was profound, with a mixture of history and tough lessons. Nia and Jordan did well here. Everyone involved in creating this movie did really well. And that's just my take on it. But feel free to leave comments about your own perception of this movie and how you felt about it. That's all for today. Stay tuned.